Hello. Good morning, everybody. How are you doing? So, um, yeah, no treadmill, no lower energy for these morning streams. I mean, still plenty of energy because I have loads of energy when it's in the morning, and it's a lovely day. But yeah, this is something that we've been basically. It's been something I've wanted to do for ages. Also, just before I start, checking everyone can hear me and everything okay. I tried to set up multi-stream so I can stream on X as well, but I think there's still some issues with being able to stream directly onto X slash Twitter. Um, if you're in the UK, basically, I think it's still a bit of a problem. So I'll try and get that sorted soon because then it means that we can be streaming in multiple locations, which would be very, very nice. But yeah, for today, just YouTube only. So give me a shout out if you're here, you can hear me and everything fine, because I have fiddled around with some settings, so I hope that nothing has changed. So I see we've got a few people in the chat, but no one's telling me that they can hear me yet. All good here. Cool. Thank you, Adrian. Jez, welcome. ZK, Knight, David Urban's in the house. AZTV, Adrian, Abshi, Abhilasha. Hello from India. Umar, welcome. Cool. All right, cool. Everybody can hear me fine. So yeah, as I was saying just a minute ago, this is something that we've been talking about for a while. I want to do consistent. Keep mic is not working fine. Just wait. Oh my god. Just
changed it. Microphone should be working fine. Okay, is the microphone better now? This is why you got to tell me because settings have changed. That should be better, right? There we go. Much better. Good. It was just a little bit of a loose connection in the back. We got some more people in here. Steve, thank you for telling me that the mic was no good. Dale Nudge. Adrian. Hello from California. California! What time is it there? That must be really early. What's the time over there? That's like a 7-hour delay, right? Cali. Because Miami's 5 a.m. If you go to Los Angeles, 2 a.m. 2 o'clock in the morning in LA. What are you doing? Why are you awake? That's insane. Is that what time it is for you there, Knight? It's 2 a.m. Wow. Yeah, that is. I don't know if you're just waking up super early or if you're going to bed super early or what's going on there. But yeah, you work at night. Okay, cool. That makes sense. So you can just chuck on a little live stream, chill out whilst you're working. All good. So yeah, Bitcoin. I'm going to start a little bit different. So just general morning routine. I mean, I've already done this. Don't say it's the wrong mic, Delirium. It's not the wrong mic. I've literally just changed that. Stop watching on a delay. We'll get there eventually. And let me make myself comfortable. How's the market looking today? We're down a little bit. Ethereum's down. This is quite nice. If anyone's noticed this, the new screeners on TradingView, really useful. I was just checking those out this morning. Something I'm definitely going to start using more often. And they got some really interesting things there. So I never really used to pay attention to it, but I had a pop-up this morning being like, hey, yo, check out the screener. It's changed. It's down here in the bottom corner. And you can take a look at what's going on. So not a lot of movement overall. Weirdly, it's like old shit coins are up more than anything else. Got Bitcoin Cash, Monero, Tower's up. That's good. Injective's up. Injective was one that I have been scaling back into recently. Audi's up. In a trade on that. In a trade on Wormhole. Good. What's down a lot? I don't even know. Sort ascending. Burger Cities. The fuck is that? Popcat. So, yeah. All right, let's put it back onto this. And then the other nice thing about this as well, you can look on the stocks. I don't save changes. I'll save some layouts and stuff for this properly soon. And we can see with the stock market what's moving around there as well. Cool. Other than that, news today. Do we have much going on? This is saying Monday the 3rd of June. It's clearly not Monday. It is Friday. I just want to be looking at the US stuff, really. Here we go. We got NFP later on today. Is that happening? Normally I just open up Forex. I open up this page for all of this stuff. So yeah, you got non-farm employment change, average hourly earnings, unemployment rate today. Fair enough. Oh, let me get rid of that. I always do that when I click back onto this screen. But yeah, some news coming out today, pre-market, pre-New York Open. The only news that matters today is Roaring Kitty becoming a billionaire. Maybe. I mean, we could start there because this is really interesting, the GME stuff. We'll get on to Bitcoin soon. How is this doing in extended hours? It has pushed, whoa, it's pushed right through to take out the last highs. So these are the highs from New York. So this is, so far today, it's up to 67.5, which is higher than the squeeze it had last month when he first came back. So yeah, that will be, where was his 16 million, $160 million position was here, wasn't it? So it was around about 20. I haven't really been following this too much. But I think it was around when it was like $20, wasn't it? $22 he announced. If anyone knows the price that he bought. So now it's 67.5. So they're making a lot of money. A lot of money. And it's very interesting what's going on here with GameStop. Again, sticking it to the hedge funds, causing them to really panic. Now, I wasn't really thinking, because yesterday this was based off of a lot of rumor. I'm kind of thinking that the actual session itself, like once he goes live, may go a little bit red. But yeah, that's impressive. That's impressive. Impressive move. So you're looking at the highs. So again, this is outside of market hours, but $80 the other day. And where did it go when it was on its first? So its all-time high from when he was doing all of that shit last time was 120.75. That's a stretch. But it is really interesting what's going on here because it's less of a short squeeze on this occasion. So previously, right, what had been happening? And I've seen some interesting videos on this and seen some Cake shared a really interesting video the other day for all of those who are in the crew that was really interesting about what happens at $40 to options in particular. Whereas previously what we had seen was a massive short squeeze. So there was a ton of short interest in GameStop previously. So it meant hedge funds were short selling the stock basically to yeah, to try and bankrupt it. And Roaring Kitty came along. He was relatively well known at the time anyway, I think. I wasn't really following it, but yeah, started to mention that, okay, this is the stock that's most heavily shorted in the world, and created this massive short squeeze. Whereas on this occasion, it's a little bit different. It's a lot more options. So what is happening now, and this is an interesting thing with options, is that because there are more like put options in the market, which basically means that um, hedge funds and all of these things have been selling what they don't own with the view that they can then buy it for cheaper later. And the problem that happens when price pumps like this is they're forced to then cover that by actually buying the stock in order to keep their option alive. So you're getting actual like proper buying. It's not just shorts like closing out. These funds are being forced to buy stock that they said they had because they'd sold the option, but now it's they're actually having to buy to cover the losses that they're making. So we've got a situation now where this whole like everything that's going on with Hello Kitty, Roaring Kitty, yeah, is forcing these big funds to actually buy the underlying asset that they're trying to like buy lower and profit by being able to buy lower. It's kind of ridiculous. So yeah, that's very interesting. I need to brush up more on my own knowledge on this, but because I'm not too clued up on options as a whole, but it's something that I really want to get into more. So what we've seen now is more of like, instead of it being a short squeeze, it's more of like a gamma squeeze, they call it. It's when it's within when it's within options more so than futures so much. But anyway, we'll go back onto Bitcoin because that's the kind of stuff that I understand a little bit better. I probably got it very wrong then. I'll do more of a proper explanation once I understand it more myself. Yeah, apparently Cool Seller might not be able to cover all of Kitty calls if he exercises them, so we need to buy spot to cover. I think I got it pretty right. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, maybe not the best explanation of it, but I think I got it right. Right? Maybe. All right, we'll go on to Bitcoin. So actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to test something else because what I want to do within these streams is also to like record little segments, and then I can upload the little segments afterwards. So if we start off with Bitcoin, I can actually press record. So top down, what we're looking at just is consolidation right at the top of the range, and we can see over the past week or so, this value area has been creeping up as well. So whilst we had put in this range initially, so the blue lines that you see here just being how the value area has been changing over time. And if I change this to the POC as well, and this is really interesting. So we had the initial high that was put in. So value had been made. Obviously, you hadn't spent much time there. So there was a lot of volume. So the value that price had there relative to where it had been had moved all the way up towards towards these highs. And we got the corrective move, so point of control starting to move down, this value area starting to move down, just being that pressure as soon as we saw that break in market structure. Then we had things like VWAPs, moving averages, that caused this, just this, what some people were considering to be weakness within the market. Distribution, okay, we've changed market structure, this is looking weak, we've got all of this stuff that's pointing down towards price. But realistically, just a corrective move. Okay, just being able to, okay, we've gone too high up, and now we're looking at this just correcting back down And where we bounced from was from our yearly VWAP. So if you anchor a VWAP, if you use the toolbar and you click on your anchored VWAP, then if you go all the way back down to the beginning of the year, place that there, then we had that anchored VWAP offering really, really good support on the low that was put in. And this was also, of course, if you look on the weekly, this is going to start getting a little bit messy. But if you look on the weekly, we had this weekly gap down here. So nice weekly gap, and this coming close to the midpoint of that. So that's generally where you would look to start, like to really kind of bid. If you've got a gap on the chart, looking around that midpoint as being a really, really like optimal entry for anything on there. And yeah, offering like good support, good reversal after that. I think on some perps, because you got the liquidations and everything, it actually went a little bit deeper than this and did hit that midpoint. But yeah, decent bounce. Reclaimed what was at the time value area low, because of course that value area had been moving down. And then just consolidation here around about that point of control. So the point of control shifted down. At this point, we were looking at the possibility like, okay, when you see this shift in the POC, right, when this shifts, you can see how this has happened previously. It shifts and then price started to repel away from it. But at that point, you held that monthly open. So this was back in May. So we had that move down at the beginning of May, immediately recovered, and then holding that monthly open as support. So the point of control moving down was not able to push down to make a new low. There were a lot of people, of course, looking at that 54 to 52K region. It held here, and then of course we see that big pop up, and now we're starting to see value and everything start to rise back up with price. So overall, it's very bullish right now. I am very bullish. So we see where this is now. We'll take off the developing. The point of control has moved back up towards the highs, and at that point when that happened, that's when we've seen this latest move higher. Value area moving towards where price is now. So we're still contained within value. That doesn't mean we can't like drop back down, test some support. If we're looking like worst case scenario at this stage, then we do have value area low down here, that 64K zone, which I think there's going to need to be some kind of FUD or something major. Like we're going to have to break down with quite a lot of aggression to have any chance of a move to come back down to those 64s at this stage. Where this is at the moment is looking pretty healthy. There's not been any like big top that's been put in. We're not seeing longs getting really like caught offside at this stage. Even the correction from yesterday ended up front running what like the minimum thing for myself was. So yeah, it's all looking very good. I am expecting breakout to new all-time highs soon, unless we start to lose that 69K area. I think going down as low as 69K at the moment is fine. If we do start to close 4-hour daily candles down there, then I would slightly readjust my thinking there, because what we have on this whole move up is just nice balance. Like there was a long consolidation, like a couple of weeks of consolidating. We're now back towards the highs. We're testing this resistance. There's only so many times that you can hit into that before it breaks. And yeah, everything looking pretty healthy. If you were to look at this from the inverse, because sometimes people ask me about this, but oh, okay, look, but if you look at it like you're making another like higher low here, if you flip the chart and invert it. But if you were to be seeing a chart like this, where you just consistently made these like moves down, okay, you swipe highs, you move down, you swipe highs, you move down, you swipe highs, you move down. Once again here, you swipe highs, you move down. This isn't something you'd really want to be longing right now. I can understand the reason for doing it for some people, but when you're looking at this and when you're looking at volume just tapering off here, I think you'd be expecting this just to break, and to break with like quite violently to the downside. So if you were longing this, and you were hoping for a bounce up here, it would be more hopeful at this stage, right? You've got clearly market structure, like you had the opportunity to bounce, you had the opportunity to make a higher low, and then to get continuation. It's failed. It's consolidating right on support, inverted chart, right? It would be hopeful more than anything to be looking for that move to bounce back up. So everything at the moment, flip it back to this way, is pointing higher. What else can we say? If we just have a look, we don't normally do too much on the higher time frames here. So the 4 hour yesterday, I was really interested in. So I was wanting to see a move down. The last stream I did, the last update I did, then I wanted to see a move down into basically this 4 hour gap. All right. So what we had on the chart here was the impulse that we had from earlier on in the week on that Tuesday. I'd kind of drawn a little squiggly that was like, burp, and then higher. I can probably pull this up. Where was my little squiggly? Where was my little squiggly line? Where's Discord? Here we go. So yeah, this was the kind of thing I wanted to see, ideally. And you can see here, getting that range, drop into that 4 hour gap, and then continuation higher. This is what we shared within the crew. And so this is more or less what we've had. So go back onto this. We didn't take the lows yesterday, but I think that move down that happened yesterday was quite nice. A bit of a front run from these lows, but opportunity to get back into a long position if you had been waiting for that. And I'll go on to Ethereum in a minute, and we'll have a look at that because ETH hit some nice levels as well yesterday. So for today, daily open, we've had a bit of a move down. What's this done so far today? Let's open on our sessions. Yeah, Asia range was fairly like, yeah, it's just come back up to, what do we have? Filled in these gaps here. Was the single prints yesterday? So yeah, back into the top of where we have a bit of a messy but slightly like 15-30 minute order block up here, rejecting off of that so far. You can see that was fairly impulsive, the move down, fairly aggressive, that move down. The correction that we had yesterday that almost came and took those lows, bouncing right back up towards these highs. I'm going to see if there's a fib that Fugazi's been talking about a lot recently. Did we get that? So this must be around the 886. Okay, yeah, not quite the 886. We'll look okay for now. I'd imagine we're around VWAP here. So let's go down lower. Are we around the VWAP? We're right on the VWAP, yeah. So trending up so far today. We have put in a low already that did take out a little bit of liquidity. So you have a bit of chopping around that daily open. Mark up into what is resistance. You've got a nice little, this is a bit cleaner, bit of a 5 minute gap here. You did in fact close above that 5 minute gap, but doesn't mean too much there. 5 minutes clean because we've got support here on this one. So we've got VWAP support, that being the only real imbalance that we've got on the chart. There's a bit of a gap here, but that was where there was a previous high. So you come back, test that. That's fine. That's dealt with. That's done. There we go. That's cleaner. Continuation higher. Clean up these highs here. Internal highs. Imbalance on the chart here. Drop back down. Test into VWAP. The only other imbalance that's on the chart. And now what you would imagine we would at the very least see is, I mean, we have tested this one. but you would want to see that filled, see if you can start closing some candles above here, and then leading on towards those previous day highs. So let's see if there can be a bit of a bounce here. But yeah, I do have a bullish bias for today on Bitcoin for sure. We're above the VWAP. We're above all important moving averages. We had that drop yesterday that I think was a decent shakeout, and things are looking rather good. So at this stage, if we do start to lose daily open, then it brings back the possibility that previous day lows do become a really nice target, because there are equal lows there. So you can extend this across, looking at still, like, it would have been nice to have got this yesterday. But if there is to be a move down, I think that like just below 70k is still an area that you could look to bid into with quite a lot of confidence. Check the weekly view up there. Yeah, so we had that as support yesterday as well. Yeah, not too much more to say on Bitcoin. That's more or less everything. We can have a look at the order flow. So if we go over here, order flow, let's just refresh. I mean, this drop yesterday was pretty intense for for leverage. People just getting way too caught up on like high leverage right now, and it's silly. It is silly to say the least. Like, you had, so we'd seen it from these highs that were put in, where we just had, and you can see it here, right? So this, zoom into these highs from yesterday. Okay, you spike once, twice, 3 times into resistance. So this hadn't taken out the highs from earlier in the week. Three moves up into the highs, and on each occasion, all right, just less delta. So you have a pretty forceful move up, all right. You've got consistent just buying. Then that starts to shut off, and you're just taking out the highs again there, but on less volume, on less delta. You're not really getting those liquidations. You're just taking stop losses of people that were too early into the short positions, and then you get the move down. And it wasn't until you just have longs that have maybe opened up at this stage, just holding through this range, and then all just liquidated at once. You can just see how quickly that cascaded down. Some spot selling going on there as well, but how quickly that cascaded down. High volume, running a bunch of liquidations, a load of stop losses being hit. That's the most long liquidations we'd seen, well, at the very least throughout this range that we have at the top here. But yeah, and then since then, what are we seeing now is that there is continued selling. So you have, not only did everyone then get stopped out, they're then trying to short this on the move back up, where we have bullish divergence on these lows, with price making higher lows, and yeah, everything looking okay there. I'll refresh this one, look at the open interest. I really wish Agra had open interest. It'd be really, really good. OI is rising. I don't get why the spot CBD is like this on CoinGlass. But yeah, OI rising. You've got order book liquidity is a little bit bearish here. But not okay. It was earlier. We've had a bit of a pullback, and now it's looking fairly neutral. But yeah, a big rise up in open interest today. That's back to levels not seen since yesterday. But on this occasion, more short interest within that, whereas previously there were a lot of longs opening up towards these highs. You'd say just looking at the delta, it's relatively flat. There's nothing too crazy going on. I don't think we really start to see a squeeze until we break highs. So I do think that this could just continue ranging for a little bit, keep building that open interest, shake some people out both sides, see how it goes. There's nothing too crazy here. It's fairly balanced. But if it does start moving up with like to start taking highs here, at this point, that's when you're going to see people trying to fade the move. Shorts trying to fade it like 72k. If it can break 72k, maybe you get people trying to short there, and then you can start squeezing, and that's where the fuel is going to be. I think within this range here, it's still fairly fairly chill at the moment. How high can AMC and GME go today? Let's just see what's in the comments. What's in the comments? Cake. NFP later. Major news next week though. CPI, PPI, and FOMC could be make or break time. Yeah, I mean, we're I think it's like PPI, CPI, FOMC suddenly becomes interesting again. Let me just stop this recording. That's the end of the Bitcoin analysis anyway. So I'm going to stop this recording and I can upload that as a little video later. Woo! So yeah, with news, let's go back onto news. Let's have a look at this. And then next week we have, so there is CPI Wednesday and FOMC Wednesday, and then PPI and the usual unemployment claims on Thursday. So Wednesday, Thursday next week. Do I want to start recording for another segment? Oh no, I'll record again if I get onto ETH. Onto ETH. We'll do a little bit of a chit chat now, and then I'll look at ETH in a little bit. Yeah, so FOMC CPI next week. Wednesday's going to be a big one. Now, the reason why I think this could be much more interesting now, because previously, okay, we know there's still very, very unlikely to be cuts in the US, right? We know that's still highly unlikely, at least until like later in the year. But we have had a rate cut from the ECB. So the European Central Bank did cut rates this week. Now, the market was a little bit like, it was to be expected. Okay, so if you look on this, the forecast, this was yesterday. So the European Central Bank, they did cut rates yesterday. It was to be expected though here, but that makes things a little bit more interesting, I think, when you're looking into the US, because overall it doesn't really matter what Europe is doing, but this could affect the dollar as a currency more so than the stock market, but the dollar as a currency as opposed to like the euro. So if we are to see that, okay, Euro's cutting rates, is that going to be good for the euro against the dollar? If so, that means DXY starts to pull back. If so, that means bullish for stocks, bullish for crypto. All right, Dixie moving down, good for stocks, good for crypto. Happy days. Unemployment claims and everything from yesterday were pretty meh, and there is NFP today. NFP's normally like choppy, not like big moves, but interesting. We'll see what happens with that. NFP, I can't remember the last if I normally trade that or not, but yeah, this could be interesting next week. Just to see what they say, more so what they're talking about, because there will be questions on, okay, well, European central banks have cut their rates. When do you plan to do the same? And based off of those answers that Powell's going to give next week, that could move the market, I think, more so than the data we get. So that actual statement and press conference becomes really, really interesting. So I haven't actually checked on the DXY. I would imagine since yesterday it has been moving down, but it's not significant, right? So you're at resistance. I'd drawn that anyway. That was a gap that got filled. It has moved down since yesterday, but it's not crazy. that would mean that the euro is up slightly. Does the euro look bullish? This is a messy chart, but does the euro look... No. Yes, no, yes. I don't even know. That just looks like a bit... it could go either way, right? So yeah, I think it's fairly neutral. I think next week we'll be able to learn a lot more. But if we look at that, that's just... I mean, the euro is just in a bit of a range against the dollar. DXY in a bit of a range as well here. But I do want to see the DXY come down here. That would be nice. Be nice. Like, let's get bearish dollar until the end of the year. Maybe even come down and take these lows. Come all the way down here. The problem with the weak dollar though is like, especially when we're when we're trading in dollars, if we want a weak dollar, then that's I quite liked it when there was a strong dollar because you got more for your money by being in another country. But because I do my business in dollars, weak dollar means less money. But hey, it means good for stocks and crypto, and that's what we like. So happy days. Can we look at ETH? What other questions are in here? How high can AMC and GME go today? So I'll look at that again a little bit later. Tia, we'll look at altcoins in a sec. ES daily sweep of previous all-time last month's high. Yeah, I mean, so with the NQ and with the ES, I'm not going to do too much analysis on that. I'm overall bullish, right? Very, very bullish, but I'm not like day trading this as much as I used to. I'm focusing on like bigger trades right now because I think that's what's, for me personally, I prefer. So when the markets are quiet and when there's not a lot going on, I will trade the Nasdaq a lot. But right now, for me, like, I mean, first of all, for anyone who's in the crew, like, I don't need to be trading the Nasdaq because we've got the champ and a group of champs that are in there trading it like literally every single morning. So if you're not in the crew already, get yourself in the crew for a start, because I mean, we can just have a look at the chat. Where is it? So legacy markets this morning had a whole... I mean, this was done in the voice channel, but I think there are about 25, 30 people watching in there this morning. But yeah, the legacy market chat's been on fire recently. Obviously, Cake leading that. Really, like, I mean, scalping on like what, the 15-second, 30-second time frame sometimes, and like, I mean, I'm pretty degen when it comes to scalping, but these guys have taken that on and are really, really good. Like, it's I'm profitable, like consistently profitable, like every single day. So yeah, posting results on a daily basis, consistently profitable. We've got the journals in there so we can see like every day. Look at the money that's being made over there in the legacy market channels. It's very, very impressive. But this is something that I only like dip into now and again. It's exhausting. It is exhausting to trade like that every day. So I'm just like, summer, bit more relaxed, wait until the market gets quiet again, and then I'll probably find that I'm in those chats a lot more than maybe I am right now. But overall, yeah, I'm very, very bullish stocks as a whole. I'm very bullish NQ. I'm very bullish Yes, we are going into mania again. There is a reason why Roaring Kitty has come back now, and it's not random. There's no like the market isn't pumping because he's back, right? You've got to understand this. The market, like he's back because he understands the way that the market is right now, and he understands that the opportunity is here. It is going to be going into mania. So you can't be looking at this as, okay, yes, it can pull back. All right. It often does after new highs, but this year it is going to be mania on the NASDAQ, on the ES. We will probably be looking at, I mean, NQ. Every time that you say, like the other day, it had a bit of a bounce, and I jokingly said like, okay, it's going to make a new all-time high today, and this was a trade that was taken. So we took this trade on, I can't even remember what day it was, but it was here, right? I took this long, and I was like, you know what, it's going to go to all-time highs from here, and it did. I'd only taken the long hit, right? It was a tiny little one, but it just never looked back, never looked back, never looked back. So everything, like these dips that it has, are so like, all right, it costs so much money for the market to force this down, and then immediately it's recovered, and then it just does not look back, does not look back, does not look back. So we're probably going through another bit of like maybe a little distribution on the highs here. Yes, you might see a spike, but very confident again that whenever you see these spikes where there's tons and tons of people just getting stopped and liquidated and all of that kind of stuff, every time you see these spikes down, they get bought up immediately, and then you're looking for higher. So if you just look on the higher time frames, like this is only just getting started, and I think we can be looking at, by the end of the year, like you're looking at 25 30k on the NQ, you're looking at 6 7 8k on the ES, right? We're going to be going into another bubble, and then that's going to lead into Bitcoin being massively bullish as well, and the whole of crypto being massively bullish also. So it's not random why these previous retail gods are coming back, because they know what's happening, and they're prepared for it as well as anyone else. I'm gonna do a little analysis on Ethereum. I will come back to it. We'll look at some altcoins in a little bit. Yeah, let's do ETH. My chart's super messy on Ethereum because I don't trade it very often. It's disgusting. Right. I might. You know what? I don't have many drawings on here anyway, so let's just get rid of everything that doesn't matter. And let's just start kind of fresh. So monthly. Monthly. Nothing particular to say on the monthly. We did have a test back to weekly open, monthly open last night. I'll add monthly open onto the chart there. That's it, really, monthly. Yeah, log scale's a bit rubbish. Weekly. Oh shit, I should have done another recording. Do I want to do a recording? ETH analysis. Yeah, let me just press record. All right. So Ethereum. Yeah, when we're looking at the monthly, there's not too much really to look at. We've got a monthly level up there, 4,636. And down here, that's not a monthly open anymore. That is just a monthly. And then we've got the monthly open that has been tested a few times already, which has been quite nice. You could be looking towards these highs being something that you want to be closing above, but I'm not going to mark that on my chart now. I don't want it to become too messy. Weekly time frame, we had what was, there was this untapped weekly level, which is really the only one that is on the chart at all at this stage. So this was back in March, came up here, hit into that that weekly level. I got a really decent pullback that, once again, similar to what Bitcoin did, okay, it came back into that weekly gap that was on the charts and get some consolidation there. So weekly's looking fine. You're consolidating back up towards the highs of the range here. A real nice impulse from the lows that it put in at the beginning of May. So that's looking okay. Daily. We've got a daily level here that I think I'm just locally, I think it looks interesting. What else? These are the same levels. I don't need to add more stuff to this here because that weekly is clearly the main one. And I would like to be aware of the gap we have there, but just aware of it. ETH's actually looking quite nice here, and it has been testing support on a few occasions, which has been looking really good. So then go down onto the 4 hour. So I'd had this drawn for a while. I think this is on lower time frames, but just this area of support. So where we've got monthly open, weekly open as well. Here, that has been just acting really, really nicely as support throughout the whole month and the whole week so far. This is also the POC. So if we look at where we first came into this range, it's not the POC anymore. It was the POC. It was the POC for a while. So if we look at developing POC, we can see how we had that point of control down there and just bouncing into it, testing into it. POC shifts higher, test it, test it, test it. All right, move up. POC shifts higher again. So we literally just shifted up there this morning. So that's kind of interesting. It will be interesting to see if this can hold now, this new point of control that there is, or whether we do get a drop back down to the weekly open again. But yeah, Ethereum looking quite strong here. From go on to the 1 hour. I'm just going to I'm going to take off the normal POC and just look at that developing one. So it literally has just moved. This, maybe I need to add a few more rows on this. Just check it out. There we go. It's a bit cleaner now. We're testing this. And where's our daily open for today? Right there. So we're right on that daily open. So move down. Came back into, so really nice, like that move yesterday that Bitcoin had. So this taking out some equal lows here on the chart, testing back into that monthly open, what was the POC. Decent bounce, just starting to climb back up again here. This is going to be chopping around VWAP. There's not really any trend so far on the day. So if you just add the VWAP onto this, I mean, it's there or thereabouts, but yeah, you're right on it. So just kind of chopping around that right now. MPOCs. They're going to load up. I didn't check the MPOCs on Bitcoin. I should have done that. I should have done the TPO, looking at the MPOCs as well. But we do have an MPOC up here, so I'm just going to mark that at the top of that 30 minute, which is not got a wick. Has it? That is wickless. Nice little wickless 30 minute. So that's a interesting target for later. We had this on Bitcoin the other day, and it got cleaned up very promptly. There's a couple of them. There's a few of them here. Look at this, like 1, 2, 3. Obviously, this one's been taken out, but this is inefficiency. This is one-sided. Like you price will want to come and test these highs sooner rather than later, I would expect. In the same way here that it was taken out yesterday. You got a few of them on the chart, and this is spot. Quite surprising. I think a view up from this low is probably about holding a support. So yeah, similar situation to Bitcoin. You don't really want to see this daily open lost, losing this little trend that it's in at the moment. The thing that ETH has is the ETH BTC pair. I do believe could cool off a little bit more than it has done. So if I just go over onto ETH BTC, then we were looking at like 0.052 to 0.05 as being the zone that you'd really want to bid into. Now, this did get a decent bounce on Wednesday and going into yesterday. So we had a really nice bounce from ETH that took the USD pair back up to the highs of the range. But again, that's just like locally, we were expecting this to break down. It is breaking down, and I think there are better levels lower. So I think if we're looking at ETH BTC, it could hold here. You never quite know with the ETH BTC pair. It's not like technical in the same way that a US dollar pair is, for example. But for myself, I'm really getting interested if it comes back down below that 0.052 to 0.05 area. So if it does drop into this zone here, even if it goes a little bit lower, that's where I'd get really interested in Ethereum again, to have like big bounce towards new highs again after that. So right now it's just a little bit stuck, and that is pretty much consistent with where it is within this range. Like Bitcoin's been the one doing the bigger movements recently. Ethereum is literally just stuck within value and just sideways, sideways, sideways. So really not too much to add on Ethereum. It had its big move, right? You want to be holding this. You certainly do not want to see price coming back down below 3,400. All right. If that does happen, bad. But in the same way Bitcoin came down and swept some lows yesterday, it wouldn't be surprising to see Ethereum do something like that before it gets a bit of a bounce as well. So something to be aware of. It had a very big move. I think it does need time to cool off. If we look at the moving averages, like this is like even like that. This is a 50. So the 4-hour moving average is often really nice. So we've got the 50 is there. The 50 has come up towards it. So the 50 is offering pretty decent support right now. You can see on each of these moves down, that 50 EMA just holding, still holding. But if this cannot get a break and we do start to lose momentum, slope back down, then certainly you'd be expecting a move down towards the 100. And then for me, the 200 being the one that's a little bit more interesting. When you're looking at general areas, the moving averages are quite nice to just gauge where that is. So if you do start to lose this, you do start to roll over. And then the moving averages starts to be resistance rather than the support. Is then you'll see boop, 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 and down onto the 200. And then you can start to see if it can get a bit of a bounce from there. I would imagine also that we're looking at these anchored VWAPs as still coming up towards, so it's been support a couple of times, but very, very flat now. So Ethereum maybe just mainly based off of the BTC pair, looking at a bit of a cool off, but that doesn't mean that alts can still be useful as well. So That's pretty much everything I want to add on alts, on a little bit on Ethereum. Anything in the chat? Hit the like button as well whilst you're here, right? Let's try and get those likes up. Because this is a stream. Any more questions in the chat? We'll get onto altcoins in a minute. And we'll have a little look at the alts. What's that was Bitcoin getting on? So yeah, there goes those highs on Bitcoin. That is pretty much what we thought would happen there. The French bulls just shared an interesting image. I don't know if I can load it up here. Too big to paste, but I will put. Let me just screen grab a snippet section of it. So there is like the order book depth. This is on. Okay, this is spot Binance. So there's a lot of selling in the books, a lot of offers in the books. Order book depth is bearish. Basically, this here is the order book depth. You can see that very, very much weighted to sell side, and then you can see the shading up here. So a lot of limit sell orders in the books, just above where price is right now on Binance Spot. I could maybe open up Trading Light, and we can have a little look at that ourselves. Again, any questions in the chat? Chat's gone super quiet. So if you're there, say hi. And then we'll have a look at some other stuff. I see you. There we go. I mean, Binance have been actually, when Binance have been more aggressive, this has actually been quite nice. So let me just, so highs. Okay, last time we saw some, right? And then we're getting it again here. Never really had it so much on this high. So that could suggest that we look to take out the highs from whatever day it was. Whatever day that was. But then above that, you've got a lot of limit orders. That was on the 21st of May. And then look, also, every time that it's got a lot of bids, okay, you never really came into them here. But it's there, it's interesting. So the real volume on this is, oh shit. What's it doing? Let me move it, yeah. Yeah, so where most of this is stacked, the CVD is also interesting here. Like, just look at, so this is selling at market as well, whilst we're kind of chilling at highs. Open interest increasing. So although there are those limit orders above, I do think that we could be targeting this high before they really start to get filled. This is more of just like an average in kind of thing. Like if you wanted to fill a big position, right? And you wanted to fill a big position short, you wouldn't necessarily wait for these highs to go. All right, when you're so close to it, and let's say you're aiming all the way back down to like lower 60s or whatever for that trade, like just you don't know if you're going to get the SFP to begin with. So if you wanted to fill a big position, for all you know, it might just like pop up. And we'll show this a bit more here. So add this back on. It could just go pop into that, and then that's it. And you're left with like, shit, I got like nothing there. So it would make sense to start just, okay, you just want to sell these tips a little bit, get your average, and then if you come up here and you start pushing through it, you can build a bigger short position. This could just be a hedge, like, okay, or like profit taking going on here. It's spot, so it wouldn't be a hedge necessarily, it would more so like profit taking. But it makes sense, right? It does make sense that you get this selling that's a little bit before that high, even if they're expecting the high to be taken, because it's fine. Like you to get filled with size, you have to do that. You can't just like if you take a short position here and you want to go short, say 1,000 Bitcoin, you're never going to get filled like that. So if you got size, you have to sacrifice the entry a little bit. What the fuck? Delete my shit. Delete my shit. Why is it every time I click on this thing? Where's it gone? Where's that? Where's that? Let me get rid of this. It's gonna mess with my OCD. There we go. That's better. So yeah, it's there. Important to be aware of. But at the moment, I still think pretty good. We'll go back over on this, have a look. We're at that monthly level still. So certainly, if you're looking for a trade, I mean, I've had my alert up there for the whole week, just waiting to see if those highs can go. I would be interested in shorting if those highs are taken. Like, I don't have to worry about not getting filled on size if we go above there, because I'm not going to be selling 1,000 Bitcoin. I'm going to be selling like 1 or 2. So that's fine. I can get filled if we just get an SFP of those highs. I'm not too fussed about that. And then the fact that we still have these lows to go, that could be really interesting. So if I'm looking at a trade today, I think it would be really nice if we can take out the highs, and if we can get a pullback that maybe comes down below that 70k. And then you go into the weekend, and as long as this doesn't get real bearish and you lose 69, then you're looking at just this being like, all right, cool, we've cleared a high, and then we're going into a range bound weekend, right? And then next week you just go, yeah, bang, or you just go for it on CPI or on FOMC, depending. News will be a factor next week. News will be a factor, so that could be the one. We might have to wait until next week for the big break, if there is to be a big break. Box Physique, great stream, mate. Going to join the group when I'm home this afternoon. Currently listening while in the gym. Very nice, thank you. Yeah, if anyone is interested in joining the crew, again, if there is anyone that is new here or who has been watching for a while and is not yet in the crew, I mean, I haven't done this yet, and we've been live for over an hour, and I've not done any little plug. But links are in the description below, also at the top of the page up there. So you can go to toroscrypto.com. All right, that will take you through to our website, and you can learn a little bit about the crew and everything there. But then you can click on join the crew, and you can join the crew. So it is $99 a month, $99 a month, the price of a cup of coffee. All right, a cheap cup of coffee every day, not one of those like Starbucks like $8 full of sugar kind of shit. Just a nice simple Americano filter coffee, less than the price of that every day, which is very cheap considering that we do go live on a daily basis. And we have not just me. I'm not even I'm kind of like the jack of all trades, the guy that just chats shit on the internet. I mean, I know what I'm doing, I'm profitable. But if you want the real alpha, like the real alpha, then that's why you join the crew. Because over in the crew, okay, we have, not only do we have coaches, like for example, Cake again this morning was live for a good couple of hours. I mean, live from 8 a.m. And only finished when I started this stream. Probably only finished because I started the stream. He probably would have carried on going if I hadn't clashed with it. But yeah, just consistently profitable here, transparent in the results as well, sharing all of the trades, sharing all of the ideas, and taking multiple trades like every single session. Really, really great. We've got French Bull. So if anyone here is interested in Elliott wave analysis, that's like, for a lot of you guys, being able to like put all the pieces of the puzzle together and be able to like forecast where price is going. French Bull is just incredible for that. So if you're looking to make a plan, if you're one of those traders that likes to have a plan, like I often go into trading and I like to have a plan, right? But if I'm scalp trading, I don't always have that plan. But if you need the plan, French Bull's your man. And yeah, so Elliott wave analysis, just fantastic analysis every day. Goes live a couple of times a week as well. So really, really good. We've got Randall, again, legend, on holiday at the moment. Lucky guy. But if you're looking for information on footprint analysis, order flow, then Randall trades based off of that a lot. So you can see here, looking at basically taking trades just based on like, look, these traders are trapped. Let's take the other trade. And again, consistently just showing results and yeah, smashing it. Delirium, again, fantastic analysis. Kind of similar to like myself, where it's just like really, really good like overview of the entire market and just having a real good understanding of where the market is likely to go. Strong analysis on volume. So if you like just constantly knowing where those NPOCs are, knowing where the single prints are, knowing where there's volume, where there's balance, where there's imbalance, Delirium is brilliant for that. CVD, all of that kind of stuff. And then Fugazi, crazy guy. Uses the fibs a lot. And also, if you are interested in options trading, like I have literally no idea about options, but I do want to learn about them. And Fugazi is the man to learn about options. A lot of his trading is on options. So those are the coaches. They're there constantly sharing their ideas every day. We've got our trading chat, which is always really active. So anytime that anybody takes a trade, that's always there. Not only on Bitcoin, but on other markets as well. Altcoin TA. We've got a trading bot as well that you can get access to. It's not open to everybody, but you can apply if you like to trade based off of algos or bots. We do have a Midas, which is a community created by the community for the community trading bot, which is going to be, well, constantly in development. Legacy market chat. Then we've got all this other stuff. And then if you want educational content, we have a ton of that as well. And we're always looking to improve on our educational content and everything there. So yeah, loads of stuff going on over there. Like I say, it is significantly less than the cost of a sugary Starbucks coffee, and it will help your bank account significantly more, because all you need to do is follow some of the trades and you make a winning, and you win. It's all good. I would be confident enough to say we maybe need to come up with a plan for this, but I would be confident enough to say that if you absorb the information within the crew and you take the lessons and like properly learn what we're teaching within the crew, and not just be like impatient, oh, I don't care what they're saying, I'm just going to do this, I'm going to do that, but you will be profitable. I would give you a personal guarantee on that we will be able to make you a profitable trader. And if we don't, then I'll refund your money, as long as you're not a dickhead and you're not just saying you made a loss but didn't, right? Dale Corduroy says, can fully recommend the crew. Thank you. Yeah, what else do we want to go over? What else can we cover this morning? Is there anything else interesting happening around the markets? I don't need to be looking on TradingView the whole time. I can have a look elsewhere, see what else is going on. Look, we've only got 30 likes, guys. Come on. Smash them up a bit more. What's moving? Is there anything? I'm going to look at Injective. I'm going to look at Audi. I'm going to look at W, because those are trades I'm currently in. And again, anytime I take a trade, I do alert the crew to those trades, and you can take the same trade. And that is, again, like we do that. We do that. They're not signals as such, because you do have to be sensible and have your own analysis. But if I take a trade, you guys will know about it. So yeah, we'll have a look at some of the other charts out there. Liquidation heat map, just check that. Is there anything interesting here? I would imagine all the liquidations are going to be above those May the 21st highs. We're going to go far back enough to see May the 21st highs, because it's a couple of weeks ago. And there they are. Yeah, so in fact, just before these highs, so we are going to start running liquidations. There's enough leverage in here to start hitting liquidations before we get to those highs, which could be interesting. It could be some nice fuel. It would be some nice fuel. ETFs. I haven't looked at the ETFs for a while. Funding rates, neutral. Neutral is healthy. ETFs, I think I've heard there's been some big inflows again. Oh my god, very, very big inflows. Yeah, so wow. This was obviously a couple of days ago, but I haven't looked at this for a while. So ETFs are looking fantastic. Very, very nice. IBIT is crushing it. That's what cheap fees do. IBIT's the biggest one now in market cap. Oh my god, look, it is. It is the biggest one in market cap. I'm sure most of you guys already knew that, but I haven't really been paying attention to the ETF. So IBIT's become the biggest market cap ETF. That's really annoying how when I try and highlight it, it ends up clicking. And this is why, right? Look at the fees. Cheap fees in comparison to GBTC. Interesting. All right, back on here. Let's have a look at some of those alts that I wanted to look at. So some of the trades I am in at the moment. In fact, I can pull up my exchange and let's so I know as well. Let's just grab Woo so I can see I'm logged out. And I'm logged in. I'm logged in. So yeah, W. There was news on W yesterday. So they had started staking. But essentially, like we'd spoken about this on the stream I did earlier in the week about how this just being very, very typical of a reaccumulation. I know we didn't take the lows, but if any of you guys like Wyckoff and stuff like that, then I use that quite often with my more like position kind of trades. And whereas a lot of the time, okay, you're looking at, so with like a Wyckoff accumulation pattern, you would often be looking to take out the lows, and that would be called a spring. And then you want to see that change in market structure and then get the markup afterwards. I think what we had seen previously, and because we'd taken out these internal lows and had tested them on a few occasions, it's like this doesn't become quite as important. Like you don't necessarily expect that to go at this stage. So this is another like way that you can do this analysis. And then by anchoring a VWAP on the top and using your volume profile, you know where the range has started. Okay. And you know where this first pivot high had gone. And you just essentially are looking for that to flip back into support. Okay. I had a bit of an attempt here. You flip it back into support. You hold. The POC was down here as well. So it did hold that POC before we got that move up. And then you're looking at this expansion. There's a lot of charts right now that look very, very similar, where the risk is low, okay, because you can see the trend that you're in. You can see that these VWAPs moving averages, for example, if we are to add the moving averages on here, then once again, okay, you can see that at the same point. All right, that will be the 50, is it? I believe that's the 50. That is the 50. Moving average on the 4 hour, curving back up here, what was once resistance, flipping that into support, and there's just a lot of space to run. So this could come back down, roll over, take lows, extend this range, carry on for a lot longer. But you can be confident of at least a bounce like we've seen to take out these highs. So this is coming to a first take profit level, and that the potential reward for what we have above, which is just very, very little. Okay, there's not really anything above. This is a very, very new asset. There's very low volume above. If it does start to reverse, then you can be looking at that typical, like you turn it into a cup and handle type thing, and then you're looking at the big breakout. So the reward on these kind of trades does massively outweigh the risk that you would initially put into them. So W is looking really good. We were helped out yesterday by news. I have taken profit on that, but still, that one's still going. Then there was Audi, USDT.P. Ordinals just absolutely flying. And this being the same thing, right? Okay, same idea. On this occasion, we did take the lows. All right, so the lows have been swept. I entered on Audi here, and I can share, in fact, I'll share that now. So on Audi, copy image, copy. There it is. So yeah, May the 7th, right? So the night of May the 7th opened at $38.60, currently at $62. So looking really good there. Let's just shrink that. I can keep that out of the way so I can pull that up on other streams and stuff. But yeah, entered a bit early and almost got stopped. I think I don't know if the stop was here or wherever. That may have just moved around, but that's where I entered. Okay. May 7th, you draw that back over here, around about $38, wasn't it? So it wasn't the best entry in the world. I have compounded it since then, so that's why I think it's a little bit higher than it was. I have done 2 compounds. So you can see from where I entered on Audi. Let's bring this up. Yeah, I actually entered here. There we go. So so I entered within here. That doesn't make sense. I must have started and then added. And then we were underwater for a little bit. But anyway, still all looking good on this. And again, this was shared with the crew, shared on a live stream. I think this is one that I was looking at on a live stream. We hit take profit 1, take profit 2 around the point of control and taking out these highs. And again, this is what I mean. Okay, there's so much space above for price to run into. Once it starts to clear this, there's nothing here. Okay, low volume all the way up to $70, which is where the target for this is. So we're seeing just increasing momentum, building momentum, building momentum, building momentum. And yeah, that's still looking really good. So Audi's still looking very healthy. W is looking good. What else is there that's moving? I've got my watch lists on here. I was in that short position or not. That's doing okay. So not is looking good. I want to see this come down and take these lows. I'm not saying that we're going to dump completely, but I wanted to have a short position as a hedge. Metis looks interesting. I might come back to that in a minute. JTO, chilling, Dimension. Is an interesting one. So this I've started getting into a long position as well. Similar situation to what I showed on W and on Audi, where you have taken out lows, okay, previous lows from back here. You've changed that market structure. You flip that VWAP into support. So you jump the creek, flip it into support. All right. And then we've got these moving averages sloping up as well. Now, I'm open to the idea of this dropping further. So what we have here, if we look on the daily, all right, there's a nice gap here that you want to see holding. All right, so you want to see this area hold, bidding into this zone, fine. But then if it does drop a little bit further, then there is some points of interest lower below these lows. Okay, so there's a couple of lows here that I am watching, and that's why I think a move down towards 280 is a possibility. So I'd be very happy to take this in 2 trades. First of all, I like what I'm seeing here. We are seeing other altcoins that have done this, okay, that have flipped this into support, that have held. You've got everything having back up. There's no reason to expect that it can't get a move to 420 and above from this. But if it does drop down, I think what would need to happen is what would need to happen here is for like Bitcoin to drop, for the rest of the market to drop, and then we can be looking at another opportunity around there at $2.80. But DYM looking really, really interesting for sure. Other alts, similar situation with alt. So I'm in along on that. Pepe short is still running. Nothing too much to update on here. It's kind of crazy, right? I'm shorting 2 of the most hyped. Well, the 3 shorts I'm in: Solana, Pepe, and Not. 3 things that people are like massively bullish in, but I'm taking the other side. All 3 of them are profitable right now. Managed to catch those really nicely. So very similar to what we saw previously on Pepe, where you clearly change market structure. Okay, coming back in, lower highs being made within an imbalance. No reason to suggest that this can't even just pull back slightly back down to like 1 cent again here, or 1 cent per 1,000 Pepe. So yeah, in a short position on here. Go away. I've already done that. What else? Solana, yeah. So Solana, I am short. So I am short from $180. It's a hedge. All right. It is a hedge. So the idea for these short positions, I'm very, very, very bullish through like for the whole market right now. But I do believe Solana as an overperformer it's time to cool down. Okay. the meme coin stuff, all of this like celebrity nonsense, it can maybe carry on like through a little bit of the summer and stay stable here. But I do believe like if Bitcoin starts pumping, yes, you might find that Solana makes new highs and comes up here, but I don't think it will outperform Bitcoin and Ethereum and a lot of these other assets now. So I am in a short position. It'd be great if it can come back down to $100. It would be amazing. I'd make some really nice profit from it. But even if I'm in a hedge at 180 and we start going to 200, 210, 220, I wouldn't be looking necessarily to close that hedge position, because what that essentially is it starts to balance the portfolio. So yes, I'm making a loss here, but what I would expect is that Bitcoin can do something like this while Solana does something like this. All right, it just underperforms. Whereas what Solana's been doing recently is this. Yeah. So Solana's been outperforming for most of the year. I don't think that's going to continue through the summer. And that's why Solana ecosystem, things like Pepe, which are already high, and the upside is limited now. I'm looking at those as those hedge positions, and I'm just managing them as we go along. So I just kind of holding them, just chilling out. I'm obviously getting paid funding by holding short in these tokens as well, so that's cool. I get a bit of funding from it. You get paid for holding the short. It's there as a hedge. See how they go. So not bearish because I'm bullish overall. And that also goes into like I'm short on a couple of Sol ecosystem tokens, but even my hedge, I've then hedged like Jupiter, for example. I'm in a short, but then I've also taken a long. So this was a long that I took during the live stream the other day, and I like this as a short to be aiming down here at like 60 cents. But I also like this locally as being a local uptrend where we could be looking at new highs. So, so they're battling against each other right now. I have a long and I have a short and I have a bunch of other stuff. So this is just across two different exchanges. Whichever gets stopped, the other one just runs, right? So I'm hedging my hedges and keeping everything maybe a little bit too diversified. But if I see a setup, I fucking take it. And then that means, look, this long fails and you drop down. Happy days, look, my short's there. So all I miss out on is this much of price action. And I would hope that if this carries on and stops me out of this trade, then you go up to target. Of course, it could do the really annoying thing and go bang, bang. But if I get stopped out of one and then this one's not looking healthy, then I'll just take my profit and be done with it. So you can do that. But that's kind of it. Anything else? So let's have a look. Suggestions. I'll chart 3. I'll do 3. So if anyone has any altcoins that they want me to look at, please post. Kid on Wheels, I did Bitcoin right at the beginning. So I'm going to upload that as a video afterwards, or you can just rewind the stream once I've finished and take a look at Bitcoin. I'll close on Bitcoin as well because Bitcoin is the big guy. But yeah, I'm just focusing on alts now. So I did do a very in-depth Bitcoin analysis right at the start. That will be uploaded separately once I finish. Any other requests? So I've looked at Solana briefly. Is there anything else here? I thought I saw some like, oh, GMX gave me brutal. GMRX gaming looks interesting. So GMX and GMRX. So GMRX gaming, I am actually invested in. So today, and in fact, I can tell you right now. So I don't know if you see this, but let me see if I can show you this. So I've been very, very open about this. I was in the VC round on GMRX, and that launched and has been dumping. So essentially there's still a lot of tokens to be distributed on here. So I have just today, if you can see, will it show up? It won't, will it? Oh, there we go. So that's to say, oh, anyway, it's there. I have received 12,000 GMRX tokens today. And this is from their pre-sale that they did. So I've got my averages is around here at like, well, not my average. I bought them for 0.2 cents per thing. Now they have just distributed them more again today, which is probably why we're seeing another sell-off again today, because it is essentially like the 7th of each month is when people get their allocations. So I don't know if that's last time on the 7th of May, there was maybe a bit of a dump. It's not been too much, but it is just consistent selling. Okay, there's still quite a lot of distribution to take place here. It's the first time I'd ever taken place in a VC round as an early investor. I managed to make some decent profit on it early on. So essentially, we have like 10 months or something vesting. So I got 10% of my tokens at the beginning. I made my money back straight away. And the rest of this is like, okay, I'm not going to be doing anything on this, but I'm just whatever. It's not, I think maybe we're looking, the project overall is going to do fine. Very, very, very happy with it. But this is just something we've seen recently from a lot of the market as a whole, especially with tokens that launched around March, April, is there was just too much hype and things were launching at way too high a valuation. And that's still the case today. So it was making everyone money except for retail, basically. And then it's kind of getting retail a bit wrecked. I haven't done any more VC stuff. It was a bit of an experiment because of what's happened with this. Although I'm very, 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 very confident, it's a great project. It's not going anywhere. It's going to be big. And I'm very confident that it's going to be seeing a move up. I just don't know how low it's going to go before that point. But either way, I've made my money from it, and I've learnt the lessons not to talk too much about new stuff until it's found like a nice base. So yeah. GMX, that's a different one. That looks good. Like you just a nice healthy uptrend here. This is interesting. Charted this previously. It steps up really well because look, I mentioned this last time, how it does this, and it's doing something very, very similar. They just keep pulling back. It's these order blocks and these gaps. It just steps up, and it's been like consistent with these moves up with it. So this is a really interesting token. It's something that I need to look to trade a bit more often. So now you would be saying like from this, from a daily, like if it pops back down here, then that starts to look real good. And then that's when you can look for like the next entry on this. So if it like, it might be too late, it might be doing that like final markup and then it whatever. But if it was to come back down to 38, that would be really interesting because it just consistently pulls back almost all the way, right? Here again, you're just using these OBs, using these gaps as support, and then you can just be looking at this kind of thing continuing. So that could be really interesting on GMX. Near ENA token. I'll flick through these. I know I said 3, but I'll just flick through them. If any look interesting, then I'll talk about them. If they don't look interesting, I won't. Near is just in a range, right? Not much to discuss. If you like the project, looks good. Overall, higher time frames, holding above what was previous resistance and holding it as support now. So this zone that it has here. Holding, yeah. In fact, just maybe mainly even that weekly level itself. So you're holding above that. That looks healthy. And once again, it's just coming back up towards the top of the range. There's plenty of upside that this has. There's not a lot of stuff above it. You've taken out most highs internally. You got a daily OB here that's holding. That looks okay. You've dropped into this. Previously, you dropped in and there was a 1 day gap there. There was a daily OB here that held. Right. So you've got these gaps, these order blocks that are holding on the move up. That is all healthy. That looks good. The difference that you've had on this occasion is you did have a gap on the kind of got closed at that point. So I guess this is okay that you're looking at this here. POC, right on that POC. So 2 levels of interest. You're either looking good right now, or you'd be looking for a drop down towards like through $6.40, which would take out these lows. You've already done it, but then you do have another order block that hasn't been tested here. Going down onto the 4 hour. 4 hours nice in the sense that you have swept these lows. I would imagine there's divergence here, so you do have 4 hour divergence, bullish divergence, and this is retracing back into the golden pocket. Right. So if you're bidding around 720, invalidation if you lose that POC 690, and looking for new highs. That's a decent little trade there. So yeah, near looks okay. It's not the best chart in the world, because there is an argument that you would much prefer it to come down here. But again, if the market stays stable, then that's probably going to be fine where it is. And you're probably going to find that this acts as support. And so there is a trade here, from where it is. Give it a bit of room. If like at this stage, if you lose the POC and start closing back below there, then that looks bad, but you can be looking for new highs. And then beyond that, it's price discovery, isn't it? Again, you're going back all the way to whatever's happened previously, and how high can that go? We'll just have to wait and see. So yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Token was one you asked for. Let me just try and get through these as quick as possible. Token's got nothing for me. All right, you've taken out these highs here, and it's below it. So you're in a healthy uptrend. I wouldn't want to short it, but maybe, yeah, I wouldn't want to long here either. You could maybe just try and short this and get something from here with an invalidation up here, but yeah, it's similar to what we had previously. Like it has an impulse, ranges for a while, drops back down, impulse, ranges for a while, drops back down, but then consistent in that. Yeah, token's not looking very interesting. ENA, USDT, LP. Book is ENA. I think. Yeah, I am in a long ENA. It's not a big one, and it's not really done anything, but I am long. And again here, so this has just been since we've reclaimed this VWAP. So I am long ENA from 91 cents. I'm only holding it because there's no reason to close it at this stage, and I kind of like how this is just a similar situation, right? Okay, you took the lows, you took them again. I think you formed some divergences down here somewhere. I can't remember. Yeah, on these lows. You reclaimed. You're back above this VWAP from its high. It's okay. It's okay. We'll see how it goes. I must have got into this early because if I'm in it from 91, I think it must have been from here somewhere. I'll check that again. But yeah, it looks okay. Decent enough. CAS, new all-time highs. Unfortunately, I don't have much CAS left. Barely any CAS left. But that's at 100x for me. I did buy CAS back in November 2022 at 0.002033. If you check on my Twitter, if you check on the Discord, I posted when I did that. In fact, I can share this right now. So little CAS has made me it is a 100x. So this is, if you're not following me on X on Twitter, by the way, make sure you do Taurus Crypto at Taurus Crypto. So let's see who's new. If there's anyone that's new here, let's see who's around. I got in very, very early, and I did post about this. When did I post about this? There we go. So here we go. Got a MEXC global account last week for the sole purpose of aping into CAS, and it's already healthily rewarded me. Nice exchange for these low cap gems. That was on the 4th of November 2022. This is what it was. I had bought it down here, right? And it already did very, very well. I probably ended up I think I figured out if I if I had held all of my tokens from when I bought them, they'd be worth something like $700,000. In reality, I've probably made less than 10% of that because you just take profits when it's on the way up. So I've made good money from it, and I still hold some tokens. But yeah, I sold the majority of them. If I'm honest, I did sell the majority of them on here, around here, right? On that first move up. I never added back in. I don't think I ever added any more. And then it was just selling more on tips. So although I still have some tokens left, I'm not making a ton of money from them. But yeah, it's done very, very well. It's done very, very well. That's 800x. What do you mean that's 800x? It's 10,000%, which is 100x. Zero point zero zero 0.002 to 0.2. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, I have some tokens left. It's like 5k tokens or something. It's not a lot. This maybe is a bit more than 5k tokens because it's 2 cents something. It would have been generational wealth. I could have retired early on it if I held all of it, but that's trading, right? Do you think big time will run again? I don't know. Big time. I think the problem with gaming is you have the hype that happens from gaming. Like we did really well from big time. Again, got in early on that, did very well. But unless then the issue happens, like once it's made a load of money and once the hype dies down, then it's the final result that becomes really important. And unless it's a real fucking good game that gets a lot of people using it, you're never going to get back to here again. That's the issue that gaming has. It's just so reliant on how good the game is. I remember this with Illuvium. Great project, right? I did very well on Illuvium when it first started, when it first launched. right? I managed to do a lot of that, right? Get a lot of that move. And then people just realized the game just took it forever, and then bear market hit, and there wasn't really the development going on, and there were all these like broken promises with it, and then it just becomes worthless, right? So yeah, most games will go that way. So big time could be around here right now, where people think it's going to come back, and it just isn't. It just simply isn't. But if you get a good gaming project that can get real adoption, then that'll be fine. The one I'm looking at now is Carrot, because they've stood up so this is a new token, right? And I got airdropped it. I got this for free because I own a My Pet Hooligan NFT. But the NFTs have retained their value throughout the whole bear market, more or less. They're developing games, they're developing merch, they're developing all this other stuff. They're doing a lot more, and I think as a project, it looks really good, and it hasn't yet gone on that big run. So if I'm looking at a gaming project that right now looks fantastic, okay, it took out its all-time high and it's pulled back, but now there's an opportunity, like buying Carrot tokens at $1, where this could potentially run to $10. That looks a real good opportunity right now if you like gaming. I don't know of any other gaming tokens that are looking really interesting at the moment, but that one is, because it was an NFT project. So they've developed a game. The game's good. You could look at Nifty as well. Nifty Island, which never really... Do they have a token yet? Did Nifty Island have a token? I don't know if they do, but that could be something to be looking at. Are you still looking at Shrap? Absolutely not. So Shrap, again, it made me money. I traded it when there was a bit of a gaming run. Look at that. It came right down to where I initially bought it, right? So Shrap, we bought, this is it, getting in early. So bought Shrap down here at like 8 cents. Okay, it ran up all the way up to 44 cents. There was a technical reason for closing here. It came into the 1.618. That's where we closed. It's all the way back down here again. But Shrap is a fucking, like, look at the game. It's terrible. It's terrible. And it's probably going to go to zero. But I do not hold any anymore. Done. You make your money. You let go of it. You then see if the game's any good. But Shrap, like, look at the videos of it. It looks like terrible, awful. So I can't see this ever doing anything again. Like, they should just give up on it. It looks just, no one's gonna play that shit. There's other examples of this as well. Oh my god, I'm still recording this as an altcoin segment. I'm going to stop recording here, and I'm probably going to wrap this up as well. But yeah, anyway, for the altcoin segment, I've done plenty. Sounds similar problems with big time team. Yeah, probably. I just don't see, like, even like Sandbox, right, and games like that. It's, yeah, this is the problem that games have. Just they never ever seem to fulfill the potential that the market gives them. Like, look at the state of Sandbox. Who still plays that? Axie Infinity, right? No one plays that. But the market just gives them so much. They keep falling for the same shit. Like, okay, great. You can make good money because you know the market's going to fall for this stuff because people love gaming, right? People love it. And you can make good money because, oh my god, this is going to be like the first game that's going to be played by everybody in the whole world. And it just doesn't, right? You make your money, you sell it wherever you want to sell it, but you get out. Get out. Any gaming token ever, sell everything. every single token you own, once you've made good profit, get out of the whole thing, because they all do this. Every single one of them. Axie Infinity was like huge. Sandbox was huge. All these games from the last cycle. Ethereum was huge and massive hype. Massive hype goes basically to zero eventually. There we go. Kevin, I bought Sandbox last cycle at 70 cents, sold at $7 and never looked back. Exactly. That's exactly what you got to do. That is exactly what you got to do. I'm going to wrap it up. This has been 2 hours, but this has been good. I'm going to do these. Yeah, I'm going to do these like every day. Every day, take a look at the market. I know a lot of stuff's going to get repeated, but we're going to be able to look at new stuff. We're going to be able to look at what's going on within the market. So yeah, every weekday, 9, 10 a.m., we'll do a couple of hours looking across the market. We'll add some more stuff in. We'll find some stuff that looks a bit more interesting. Probably want to start looking at some on-chain stuff in future streams as well. But I've been talking for 2 hours straight. I've run out of water. I need to have a drink. I need to stop talking and chill out for a bit, get ready for New York session. So if anyone, I'm still around today, so I'll probably take a few trades during the New York session today. If anything comes up, make sure you check out the Bitcoin analysis after this video has ended if you have not done so already, if you weren't here at the beginning. But as you know, I'm still expecting highs to be taken. I still think these highs are looking good. 72K today would be fantastic. That is an area I would look to take a short. And yeah, we'll take it from there. So cheers, guys. I'll see you all. Well, have a great weekend. Crew, I'll be around, but for all the rest of you guys, have a great weekend. If you do want to join the crew, come and join us. If you don't, no worries. That's why I do public stuff as well. But yeah, I'll see you in a bit. Have a good weekend, everybody. Thanks for watching. Until next time.